おはようございます。こんにちは. Welcome everybody. So today we'll be looking at the continuation of last week. So we'll be looking at some more Year 12 Kanji. And we'll also be looking at another NHK Easy article. That's the name of the site, NHK Easy. About Minpaku. Okay. This is basically, I guess I could describe it as kind of like Airbnb, but we're dealing with a kind of unique Japanese thing here. Alright, so if you check the YouTube description box, I've got a Google link to a Google Doc. I'd really recommend you pull that up. I'll be typing into it as the lesson goes along, including, especially for the kanji, I think it's quite important to follow along with that doc, and also I'll be creating a vocabulary list when we look at our NHK article, and also I'll have a link to the article in there as well. I always have troubles trying to find it on the website, but I keep hard copies, well, digital copies on my computer, so that's all I have for now. If I find the link later, I'll do it, but for some reason Google doesn't, I can never find the actual article on the web. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay, so this is the Google Doc I was talking about. Okay, so I'm just running these Japanese lessons here. These are very similar to online lessons that I do. These are $40 an hour or $70 an hour if you do 2 hours or more. Do any aspect of Japanese, so JLPT, high school, university. Notice here I say JLPT up to N2. But generally a lot of my students are high school students, so I kind of specialize in doing Year 12 exam preparation. And I'm very confident that I can take any student, and if you do a few lessons with me, I can show you everything you need to know about how to do well in Year 12 exams for Japanese. I myself did extremely well on high school exams, but I went to Japan for 10 months on exchange, so that's kind of what I chalk it up to. But I learned a lot of things when I was on exchange, learned a lot of techniques, and especially over these last few years, I've really been trying to work out how do you do well in exams, particularly Japanese exams. And so I'd like to teach these techniques to other people. So if you could just send me an email here, I'd be happy to discuss further details with you. Okay, so last week we were looking at our, actually, no, it wasn't last week. Last week we did a kanji, an impromptu, not impromptu, but not as good quality kanji exam lesson. But anyway, I would still recommend you check that one out. But the week before that we did shimaru. Shimaru. Okay, really handy grammar that's going to come up a lot in Year 12. But yeah, not a bad lesson, and it's good to practice your TEF form with as well. Okay, so let's skip all that. Alright, now we also did start here. Probably should move this down a bit. Delete all this. You can find this lesson in the previous Google Doc, okay? Just go through my previous videos. The link's in the description every time. Alright. Okay, so we did quite a few kanji. So we had ireru, hito, ue, shita, oki, chisai, kuchi. Ko, onna, yama, kawa, sen, sai, man. And we go from here. Okay, so we're kind of moving up in complexity with our kanji, alright? Going from 1, 2, 3, and now we're up to 4 strokes. Okay, so let's just go through these pretty quickly. So our first one we have here, a lot of you should recognize this one. We see it's read as Nietzsche or Jitsu, but really we would kind of, if we were explaining this one to a Japanese person, we would say Hi. Alright, or maybe Nietzsche is a good one as well. Hi. Okay, we normally use the kunyomi when we're explaining kanji to Japanese people. So we say this has got quite some interesting meanings. So day, alright, I would say this is the primary meaning for this kanji, but really it's sun, okay? Really this kanji means sun. And I remember I think it's in the Remembering the Kanji book, he says, well, just think of the outside box as the actual outline of the sun, and then the line through the middle is like the smile of the sun, because it's like smiling on Earth. Anyway, so yeah, we see it means sun, alright? But when we use it, we're mostly talking about day. Okay, well, obviously it's means Japan, alright? And it's also our counter for days, okay? So I've done a whole video on counting days, or counting, and that includes dates and things like that. I would really recommend you watch that if you're doing year 12. So I would say that really all of these readings are important. All of them. Alright, so Nietzsche, we know just from counting days, 11日, 12日, 13日. Jitsu we can actually see in days like, in words like shukujitsu. Okay, this is a possible word which can come up. Oh. Okay, and this is a holiday. Alright, it's like a public holiday. Alright, so for example, Golden Week. This is a really common Japanese Year 12 exam question, and they'll talk about something like shukujitsu ga oi. Many holidays when they're describing Golden Week. Hi, of course, we know mainly it's bi when we talk about our days of the week. Getsuyobi, kayobi, suiyobi. And ka we again know from our days of the month. So futsuka, second day. Mika, yokka, itsuka. Okay, so all these are pretty important. Alright, next one. Next one we have, it means moon. Okay, this kanji actually means moon, but interestingly enough, it's not really how we deal with this kanji. We're normally going to deal with it in terms of month. Alright, so if we think about the lunar cycle, okay, the lunar cycle goes through one whole cycle every month. Okay, waxing and waning, all that kind of stuff. So this is why we use it mainly for month. Okay, so this rating of tsuki, I wouldn't really worry about. You can say like, tsuki ga mienai. I can't see the moon, but I mean it probably is not going to come up all too often. It could, but yeah. And you can say tsuki-sama, the moon. Alright, but actually it's these two readings which I would really recommend you focus on. Okay, so for example, when we're talking about our our months, January, 1月, 2月, 3月, alright? And then we have, when we're talking about spans, 1ヶ月. Okay, so 月, 1ヶ月, a span of 1 month. So if you know both of these, that's about all you really need to know for this kanji. It's really testing dates. Alright, next one. We see this is fire. Alright, a lot of you will just read this as ka. But again, because this is our onyomi, you couldn't go up to a Japanese person and say ka, kaite, ka, or kanji de kaite kudasai. It doesn't really make sense. They'll probably try and write something else. If we want to say, write the kanji for fire, hi. Alright, hi. Now we know this from obviously Tuesday, right? Kayobi. Kayobi. But we can have some other words like kaji. Sono kaji janai. Kaji. Alright. So this is just like a fire. So for example, when we're talking about earthquakes, you know, this could come up in an earthquakes listening thing. What else? What do we have? Kaji. Kayobi. Yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, Kayobi really is the other one. Let's do one thing here. Okay, Kayobi. Alright, next one. Water. Okay, mizu. Mizu, I'm not really sure. Oh, I see, it's a dash. But yeah, mizu. Okay, again, we'd say mizu kaite kudasai. Please write mizu. Alright, we say it means water. And sui. Okay, so again, day of the week. Suyobi. Alright, we have suie. Okay, so swimming. Yeah, those are the main two ones. Okay, next one we have ki. So ki is a tree technically, but it's used a lot to mean wood. And you see it's ki. I wouldn't really worry about. Probably should highlight these. I mean, I said all these are good. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, now for this, of course, we need to know it as ki. Moku, we'll know from mokuyobi. Boku, I would say it's very unlikely that boku is going to come up. Okay, so, you know, we just have the word for ki. So, ki no shita, underneath the tree. And mokuyobi. Now, I think I have seen words like this before. Mokubu. Alright, it's talking about like the wooden part of something, if something's made of various materials. But yeah, I don't really think this is... I mean, it's possible, right? Because bu is also a receptive kanji, but I don't know, not very useful. Also, we can have it come up in lots of people's names. Alright, we could have Suzuki-san. We could even have a name like this. Oh wait, that's Moto. Yeah, sorry. But anyway, yeah, I would say that these are the main two. Okay, next one, Naka. Alright, so we have Chu and Naka. Alright, I would say that these are the two most useful ones. Now this is a very broad word in Japanese, just like it is in English, okay? So inside, middle, center, the mean, although you're probably not going to know that meaning so much. You know, inside something. Okay, so you know the easy one, which we probably come across a lot, heya no naka. Heya no naka. And we could have like nakabayashi. Alright, this is a very common name in Japan. But also our school, okay? Chugakko. And yeah, Naka. Although I gotta say that's probably not so. It's not so likely. But Naka is like the very center of something. We see we have our kanji for truth here. Naka. What else? That would be about it, I would think. But as long as we remember Naka and Chu, that'll get you by. Te, alright. Really important kanji, especially when we think of this in terms of radicals. Okay, so it's worth remembering Shu and Te for this guy. Okay, well first we can just say Te, alright, our hand. We also notice some jobs. we can put it on the end of certain words and talk about the person who does that job. So unten is to drive, untenshu, a driver. Unten, untenshu. There is a few jobs that have this. With jobs, it's a bit. They're actually like, I don't know. I feel like there's like 5 to 10 kanji that we put on the end of certain words to say it's the person who does that job. We have shi, shu. We have quite a few. I just can't think of them at the moment. Sha, I guess a lot of S sounds. But the important thing is to look at words like this. Motsu, ne. Ten. Alright, when we look at certain words, motsu, alright, to hold something, sagasu, to search for something. We see on the left here, we have our radical for hand, okay? So this stick with the 2 notches on it on the left hand side of both these kanji is like a simplified version of this kanji. Okay, so when we see a kanji with this on the left hand side like this, it's a bushu, alright? Bushu, it's a radical. Bushu. Alright, and so that's how we can kind of tell the difference between, for example, alright, between, for example, motsu and matsu. We see we have, on the right here, we have temple, we have tera. But on the left we have hand, and here on the left we have what's called gyo nimben. That's not really important to know that one though. But so we can say, well, this is obviously to hold, okay, because we're dealing with our hands. So really important to know from that point of view, okay? That's a radical. Te untenshu. I guess we could have words like tegami. Okay. Tetsudai. Tetsudai. Alright, to help out. So, yeah. Really handy one. Alright, this one. Now a lot of you will know this as yen. So N in Japanese though. Remember, yen versus N. But there's another reading for this which has come up in Year 12 exams before. And it's this one. Marui. Marui. Alright, so this is an I adjective, okay, and it means round. Now, some of you may already know a word for round. Okay, and there is a difference between these two marui. Okay, so the one that you should learn is more for round things. Okay, so whereas like flat things, so coins, for example. Whereas this marui is more for spheres, so more kind of 3D objects. But the difference between those two words is not important. You're not going to be tested on that, for example, in Year 12. And even in JLPT, I would think a question like that, it's probably not even going to come up in N2. Like N1 it could, but yeah, so it's a very subtle difference, so don't worry about it. But just know you don't have to know that second marui. Like, you don't have to know this one. You don't have to know this kanji. How do you do it? Alt Shift 5. Oh, nailed it. Alright. So marui. Alright, we'll get by with this N and marui. Alright, so we see it's circle, yen, round. Alright, so yeah, this is the important word here. Circle. Alright, so it's a circle rather than a sphere. Okay, this one. Alright, some of you will recognize this as the gen from Genki. Okay. I don't think it's really worth loading gun here, and it's not even really worth learning moto, because basically the words you're going to have to read this in are Genki and maybe Ganjitsu. Alright, Ganjitsu. But I don't think so. I think that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. They're probably going to write the furigana above Ganjitsu, okay? But Ganjitsu is another way to say New Year's Day. Genki, alright? is basically the only time we need to know this. Alright, ima. Okay, really handy kanji. We see this in heaps of words. It's probably one of the most common readings, and I actually notice here they don't have all the readings of this kanji. Okay, because for example we have kotoshi, konshu, kongetsu. Okay, so we see it's got the proper readings here, but kotoshi, it's not quite. Kon, is it? It's ko. Kongetsu. Kongetsu. So this year, this week, this month. And of course, oops. Okay, we have kyo. Alright, so we see there's kind of some weird readings for this, but just keep in mind that when we're talking about dates and the kanji for dates, like today, tomorrow, all this kind of stuff, these are pretty ancient kanji with ancient readings, so that's why that's a bit strange like this. Of course, when we just have ima. Okay, now. Yeah, we have words like imadoki, but this is probably a bit of an advanced word. But this is like nowadays, imadoki. So imadoki no daigakusei. So it's like the current generation of university students. What else? That's about it. Kotoshi, konshu. Yeah, I think that'll be about enough for those. 10. Alright, so obviously it's good to know 10 for this one. I don't think it's really worth learning these, but there is a word. So we see heaven, sky, and so because of this, it has this, it has this meaning of imperial as well, okay? Imperial. So we're talking about like the emperor a lot when we use this kanji. Although to be honest, those words are very unlikely to come up. But we can have tenki, okay? This is the one probably everyone knows. And what's the other one? Oh yeah, the reason I highlight ama is because we could have this one, ama no gawa. Now this third one, amaterasu, I mean, it's pretty unlikely to come up, but this is kind of I believe it's the god that kind of created Japan, okay, Amaterasu. So it's possible it could come up, but again, they're very likely to tell you the reading of this. But just keep this in your head, just keep it linked with sky, heaven, imperial, these kind of things. So tenki though, is we'll be able to get by with this. Alright, a lot of you probably recognize this one, okay, we got chichi. Chichi. Alright, so it means father. But also, of course, we can have oto-san. Alright, someone else's father. And also fu. I'm not sure this is really worth learning, but for example, when we combine it with the kanji for mum, we can read this as fubo. It's like mother and father, but I don't think it's going to come up much. Oto-san and chichi is probably going to get you by. Alright, fun. Okay, this is a really important kanji actually. So we saw it in minutes, okay? So fun, bun. Gonna need to know all of these. But also, you know, wakaru. Now, it's kind of unlikely that this gets written like this. A lot of the time this word will get written without kanji in year 12, but it could be, okay? It's possible that it could be. So wakarimasu, to understand. Wakarimasu, wakaru. Okay, to understand. Okay, so the way I like to remember this kanji is when we look at the English, we see... That's interesting, it doesn't actually have it here. But I guess we can say, you know, part, segment, a share, and I'm going to add my own Okay, divide. Okay, because we can say, you know, we kind of think of wakeru is like splitting things up, so we divide them up into smaller bits. So this is why this is for the kanji for a minute, because a minute is like a share or a part or a division of 1 hour. So yeah, and wakeru, this is, I mean, a bit advanced, I would say, but it's possible it could come up in year 12. But wakeru means to split, wakeai. So you talk about when you're sharing things, for example, this will come up a fair bit. But yeah, fun and bun is probably the most times we're going to come across this. There are some tricky ones, so alright, I think this is pretty cool if this came up. I remember this came up in my third year of uni Japanese, so perhaps it's unlikely. But they could do it. Oops. Okay, so we see these kanji are the same, but they're read differently. So jubun, this means sufficient. Sufficient, or that there is plenty of something. And jubbun, this is 10 minutes. Alright, so yeah. Kind of a tricky one. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it for that one. Fun. Yeah, most of the other words are a bit tricky. Alright, tomo. Okay, a lot of you should recognize this one. This is friend. And I'm not sure it's too useful learning this. Pretty much the only time this is going to come up is tomodachi, right? Actually, it's more likely to be written like this, tomodachi. Even Japanese people don't like writing that dachi. Okay. Now they could use the onyomi and do this word yujin, but I'm not sure that's very likely. Tomodachi is probably that'll be enough. Yujin just means friend, by the way. Okay, next one, kata. Alright, so just don't get this confused with the one we saw earlier, well last week it would have been, of this one, man, went past it. Man. Alright, so notice this one doesn't have a notch on the top, this one does. That's the only difference between these two kanji. Okay, this one does have a notch on the top. So what do we have to know? Well, ho, kata. We have to know both of these. I don't remember these names. This is, by the way, that line is just talking about how in people's names it gets read differently even again. But yeah, trust me, you don't have to know that. Okay. Just write something here quickly. Okay, so, well, we have to know this, for example, when we think about some grammar, we think about the way of doing something, we get our verb stem, and then add kata, so ikikata, okay, the way to go, tabekata, the way to eat, shaberikata, shaberikata. So shaberu, this is a good verb to learn, but this is to like to chat. So shaberikata is like a way of talking. So shaberikata ga hen. You speak strangely. Alright, I've heard that said to me many times. Shaberikata ga hen. Alright, so we can use it as here. However, ho, when we're thinking about our comparisons, we say, you know, x no ho ga suki. Okay, so we've got some kind of something, no ho ga suki. Alright, so both of these you have to know. And I would say that a lot of you are very probably comfortable with reading this as ho. I kind of noticed myself throughout early years of high school that this is what is emphasized. And then when they teach you the grammar for this ikikata, tabekata, like the way of doing X, in kind of year 11, year 12 about, I guess is when you start to learn this, then the majority of times you see this kanji is like this. So just keep in mind that both readings are very likely. Okay, this has got quite a lot of readings. I wouldn't worry about the vast majority of these. I don't even think it's worth it. Okay, but we've got our transitive and intransitive verbs here first. Okay, tomato, tomato. Yameru could come up, but I don't think so much. Anyway, so we see this kanji means stop, alright? Now don't get this confused with tadashi. Alright, very similar looking kanji. Okay, tadashi means correct. Okay, it's not what we're talking about here. Now, just as a bit of a side note, this tadashi, we're going to come across it later, but this is how Japanese people do tallies. Okay, you know we do the 4 lines, then cross through with the 5th line. Japanese, you do it like this. You know, you write this kanji, and then, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes in here. So you can do tallies with this kanji. But anyway, we're not dealing with this one yet. So this is tomaru. Now, for example, you'll see this on stop signs. They'll just have this kanji, and they'll also, you know, paint it on the roads near stop signs. And I'll normally say tomare. Okay. Now, this tomare, it's a bit rude. It's actually an imperative form. It's like, hey, stop. You know, it's like a command or an order. So you're not really supposed to say this to other people. But tomaru and tomeru. Okay, so just a bit of a quick recap. We've got tomeru and tomaru because we've got transitive and intransitive verbs. Okay, so it's that the A sound is normally the one where humans are not involved. Okay, it's like something else is happening by itself. So we could say kuruma o tomeru. Okay, kuruma o tomeru, and that's like I'm in the car and I'm pressing the brake and I'm stopping the car. Kuruma o tomeru. Kuruma ga tomaru. The car stops. All right, so some car, and maybe it you know, whatever, it hits something or whatever, but it stops. Okay, not with human involvement. Tomeru versus tomaru. I think these are good examples of the, you know, how we have an A sound and an E sound to differentiate between our transitive and intransitive verbs. Okay, tomaru. Yeah, I don't think we really need to know shi so much. One word we could have this as, actually, now that I think about it, having said all that, chushi. Chushi. Okay. Although most of the time when I've seen this, it does get written with furikana. So you're probably not going to be expected to read this. But chushi, to cancel or to suspend something. Okay. Alright, last one. So, sure. Yeah, it could come up, I guess. But really we're learning it for the kunyomi, okay? Tsukunai. Skoshi, right? Few or a little. Alright, so skoshi. Yeah, just both of these are going to come up. You know, nantoka ga tsukunai. Skoshi tabemasu. Both of these could come up. I mean, we could have tasho. But this is maybe not so likely to come up. Okay, and so just notice that this is different from chisai. Alright, we've got an extra big stroke on the bottom of this, but very similar meanings. Okay, so I've got a link here to this Minpaku, the article. Let me just bring it up. Seconds. that should work. And alright. Okay, here we go. So I would just recommend that you open up the article. It's basically just a picture of Minpaku. Alright. Korejanai. Kore desu. Okay. So I'll be typing in the word list as well, so just keep that open. What do I do with it? Is that gonna look weird? Yeah. Oops, sorry. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, so let's have a read of this. So this is our headline, okay? So we got 外国人に人気がある日本の古い家を民泊で利用する。民泊で利用する。Oh no. Wait, why is it doing that? Alright, that's fine. That's alright. Okay, so our first couple of words, what have we got? Alright, so 外国人. Okay, so this is our, you gotta know this word, guys. This is foreigner. So basically non-Japanese. Popular, old, it's kind of like a lodge, I guess. And you use. Okay. So I'll, I don't want to populate these, might as well. Genki. Furui. Minpaku. Ryo. Alright. I will get dual monitors eventually and this will be a lot easier. But anyway. So, 外国人に人気がある. Okay, so this is kind of a set phrase, alright? Okay, we often say 人気がある. So it has popularity. Okay, and then we use our ni particle. Ni to show who does it have popularity with. So 外国人に人気がある. So popular with foreigners. 日本の古い家. Okay, so 古い, old, 家, house. 日本の, so Japanese old houses. Okay, or. Okay, so this is a really good usage of or, by the way. But we see we have a bit of an interjection with or. We have minpaku de. Alright, so if you think, just look at the word list, but minpaku is our lodging. Alright, so minpaku de. So basically, and then we see ryo suru. So ryo is to use, ryo suru. Okay, so ryo is a bit of a fancy word. You know, skull and ryo are very similar. Alright, although I would say, like, even, I mean, we can write it, we can write this word, shiyo, okay, and we can see this is our kanji, skull, and then our same yo. So ryo and shiyo are very similar. But anyway, Minpaku de ryo suru. So, using old Japanese houses as Minpaku de. So, furu ie o Minpaku de. Okay? So, old Japanese houses are being used as Minpaku. And these are not just any old Japanese houses, they are popular with foreigners. Okay? So, what this article is talking about is there's all these old houses in Japan, okay? So maybe some people are dying, don't leave any relatives, whatever may happen, but there's just all these old houses, people move out of the house. There's all these old houses, especially in the countryside, which are still, very beautiful houses, right? They're very traditional, old, made out of wood. They have all the kind of features of a traditional Japanese house. Genkan, furoba, all these kind of rooms, the butsudan, the tatami, all these kind of features of a traditional Japanese house, but they're not being used anymore. The people have whatever left, and we'll see they go into some reasons why this happens. And so now what we have is some companies are saying, well, maybe Japanese people don't like these houses or don't want to live in these houses anymore, but tourists do. Tourists would really like to stay in these houses and kind of experience Japanese culture. So that's what this article is about. Okay, let's look at our next little bit. It's gonna have to. What am I gonna do? Zoom it in a bit. Alright, that looks good. Okay, so here's our next little bit. So, we got 15日から新しい法律が始まって、ホテルではない家やマンションでもお金をもらって客を泊める民泊ができるようになります。民泊を利用する外国人の間では、人が生活していた古い家が人気です。日本の歴史や日本人の生活がわかるためです。Okay, so this is really giving us a very good introduction to what this article is about. Kind of, you don't really need to read much more after this, unless you want some more detail, but this kind of explains it all. Okay, so let's go to our word list. Okay, 法律. Alright, bit of a tricky word, this one. We got 始まって。Sorry, this keyboard, I don't know how to use the F keys. Normally you use the F7 and it'll switch it to hiragana, I think. I can never remember. It's one of those around there. If you accidentally press space and put it into the hiragana or the kanji, just like I did. Tomeru aida seikatsu. So it's not F7, it's F6, my bad. F7 I think is katakana. Rekishi. Okay, these are all the ones we need to know. Alright, so, horitsu, bit of a tricky one like I said. This is law. Okay, hajimatte, to begin. Manchon, alright, this is basically an apartment. Money. Oops. And kyaku, customers. And stay. It's like among and lifestyle. History. Alright, so all these words I would say you'd have to know apart from horitsu. Okay, apart from horitsu. Okay, so let's go back to our article. Oh, don't press end stream. Alright. 映ってるかな? 映ってますね. Okay. So, 15日から, so from the 15th, 新しい法律が始まって. Okay? So again, another example of our transitive intransitive verbs, okay? But 始まって, so to begin. So it's just kind of starting. The law starts, okay? It's like, I know humans are involved with creating the laws and all that, but it's the law will begin, okay? So 新しい法律, a new law が始まって. So it's already begun. ホテルではない. So 家や mansion. So mansion again is just like this big block of flats, right? It's not a mansion as we understand in English. It's just a massive block of flats. Or apartments, I guess, if you like your American English. But 家や mansion. So houses and apartments. So ホテルではない. So houses and mansions which are not hotels. でも. Oops, I had the box on. でも. So even houses and apartments which are not hotels. お金をもらって客を泊める. So お金をもらって, so receive some money. 客を泊める, and have customers stay in them. Okay. Alright. And Minpaku. Okay, so here's our word, our lodging. And then really a good bit of grammar here, but we have ができるようになります。ができるようになります. Alright. So it's become this way. Alright. So it's ni narimasu, it's become. Dekiru yo, able to do. Alright, so because of the law, you can now have people stay in your house or mansion and people pay you, and you don't have to be like registered as a hotel or anything. Okay, so this is quite a big change in the law. And this has happened kind of all around the world. I really think since Airbnb and similar companies have come about, it's become a lot easier. So, 民泊を利用する外国人の間では, so among the foreigners who use 民泊, 人が生活していた古い家が人気です. Alright, so this is some market research or whatever that they've done, but they're saying 人が生活していた. So people have been living in the houses. 古い家が人気が,古い家が人気です. So the popular houses are the ones that actually had people, and specifically like Japanese people, living like a traditional life or whatever. Some kind of traditional Japanese lifestyle. Okay, these are the houses which seem to be popular among foreigners. Okay, so they're kind of saying that people who come to Japan, you know, they're interested in the culture. Okay, they're not really interested in living in a hotel or staying in a hotel if they have the option of living in a traditional Japanese house. And we've got some reasons. 日本の歴史や日本人の生活がわかるためです. Okay, so ため, really important grammatical feature here, but for the sake of, for the purpose of, for the purpose of what? 日本人の生活がわかる. Okay, so people want to kind of understand what is it like to live in these traditional Japanese houses, kind of live a traditional Japanese lifestyle. Or also Nihon no Rekishi, okay, so learning about Japanese history. Okay, so both of these reasons, right? Again, we have a ya to kind of say, well, these are two things on the list. There are other items on the list that people are why people are staying in these houses, but these are probably the two primary ones, okay? So we're not saying to here and joining just two items on this list, it's ya. Alright, wakaru-tame desu. Alright, next bit, I guess. One second, 3. Okay. It's cutting off my head there a bit, but whatever. Oh, I can do this. Alright. Now, where's that black there? It's weird. Alright. There we go. Okay. So, Minpaku を紹介しているアメリカのホームアウェイという会社は人が住まなくなった古い家を直して旅行する外国人に紹介することにしました。そして福岡県浮橋で150年前に建てられた古い家を直して民泊で利用できるようにしました。Okay, so some complex stuff in here, but let's go through it little by little and work out what's going on. Okay, so first off, we've got 紹介. 紹介会社住まなく直して横福岡県 I'm not going to bother writing out the thing, but 年前建てられた. Okay. So this is to introduce, alright? So we know this word from, for example, 自己紹介, you know, self-introduction. It's a company, not living, to fix, repair, travel, alright, got to know this word. Fukuoka, beautiful place, on the very kind of west side of Japan, years, 150 years earlier, before, and to be built. Okay. Alright, so what's going on here? So, 民泊を紹介しているアメリカのホームアウェイという会社は Alright, long sentence, alright. But whenever we see a wa here, basically look at everything. Look at everything that comes before the wa as kind of one long bit. Okay, so we've got as for a company called Home Away. So home away. So there's a company called Home Away. America no. Alright, so it's an American company. America no. And what are they doing? Minpaku wo shoukai shiteiru. Alright, so basically they're doing the marketing, right? They're keeping like a database of all these houses, they're making sure that they're safe, whatever, they're clean, all this kind of stuff. Take photos, put it on a website, and then you can browse through, just like a hotel website or whatever, right? You can look through, look at all these houses that you can, these Minpaku, okay, these kind of traditional houses that you can stay in Japan. Okay, this is kind of what they're doing. So as for this company that's doing these introductions, hito ga sumanaku natta. Alright, I just want to point out this is really important that you understand this type of grammar for year 12, okay? Really, really, really important. So, what's this starting off with? Well, it's hito ga sumanai. Hito ga sumanai is first where we should start off with this, alright? So, hito ga sumu, people live. Hito ga sumanai, people don't live, alright? So, watashi wa kono apato ni sundeiru. I'm living in this apartment, okay? But here it's hito ga sumanai, so people don't live. And also we see natta, alright? Natta. Whenever we see this na with a little tsu and a ta, it's natta, alright? Narimashita. Narimashita. So our past form of naru, to become, okay? And when we see this, really got to pay attention. And the other key is we see we got a ku here. Ku. Alright? So why do we have the ku? Well, if we want to join sumanai, we want to join that sumanai and the naru verb together, we have to do it like this when it's a negative. Okay? Sumanaku natta. So basically, people have become no longer living here. I know that's kind of weird in English, but people are no longer living in these houses. Okay? They were, something's happened, and now they're not. So the houses are empty. So, hito ga sumanaku natta furui ie o naoshite. Alright, so naosu is to fix something. So, ie o naosu, to fix it up, right? Do some renovations, make it safe, make sure there's no holes in the floor or whatever, okay? So, old houses where people no longer live, they fix them. Ryoko suru gaigokujin ni shoukai suru koto ni shimashita. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of ni suru, ni naru, these types of grammar. I've done a whole video, you can find it on this channel, where I explain the difference between these two. But ni shimashita is a conscious choice, alright, a conscious decision. So this company has made a choice to do something. What's the choice? Ryoko suru gaikokujin ni shoukai suru. Alright, so they're introducing these Minpaku to traveling foreigners, alright? Traveling non-Japanese, people who are coming to Japan, okay? This is who they're marketing it to. They're like, hey, this is our whatever, USP, right? Our unique selling proposition, okay? We're going to try and capture this type of the market, alright? People who are foreigners who are coming to Japan and who want to kind of experience this traditional Japanese lifestyle. Okay, そして and then 福岡県浮橋で alright, so this is a place in Fukuoka, Ukihashi. I don't know where it is, but somewhere in Fukuoka. 150年前に so 150 years earlier, alright, this is a quite old house. に建てられた. 建てられた. Okay, so 建てる is to build. 建てられた. This is what's called the passive form of the verb. Now this is not year 12 kanji. It's possible, not kanji, well it's definitely not year 12 kanji. It's not year 12 grammar either though. And it's not a year 12 word. Tateru could be tatemono, like building, we'll see later, could be. But this grammar can't be. Now, that's not to say it can't come up in the exam. It just won't be examinable, alright? So they won't ask you, like, about that bit. It'll be, like, basically it's just filler text. And you can't be examined on it, alright? So it's good to know, alright? But it's the passive form of the verb. So it's basically saying these houses were built 150 years ago. So kind of a bit of repetition here, but these, you know, in this, now we've got a specific example, right? So in this place, houses, old houses that were built 150 years ago, o naoshite, okay, so we fix them up. Minpaku de, alright, so as a lodge, riyo dekiru you ni shimashita. Okay, so again, another ni shimashita, so they choose. 利用できるように. Okay, so ように, making an effort to be able to have them be used as a minpaku. Okay, now that sounds very wordy in English, but trust me, this is super important to understand exactly these types of sentences if you want to do well in year 12. Okay, you need to know how to understand this stuff. Okay, let's look at our last little bit. We talk about Kawaguchi-san dakke. Alright. Oh, nice, that came up perfectly. Kind of. Close enough, anyway. Oh, that's just the edge of the page. Oh, nice. Alright. Let's move this a little bit. Okay. So let's just read our last little bit. So we got 家を直すのに協力した川口智弘さんは、古い家は地域の文化がわかる大事な建物なので、たくさんの人に利用してもらいたいです。と話していました。Okay. So let's go to our list. So 協力. Okay, so this guy might seem a bit strange to you guys, but this is actually a kanji. Okay, it means chikara, power. Oops. 地域文化大事建物川口智弘. Alright, you definitely don't know how to read people's names like that. Alright. But, okay, so this is cooperation. It's like local customs, tradition, like regional. It's kind of hard to translate this word chiki sometimes. Bunka. Often, though, we'll see chiki and bunka come together quite a lot there. Important, building, and a name. Alright, Kawaguchi Tomohiro-san. Alright, so Kawaguchi is his last name. Okay. 最後にやりましょう。あれ。Oh, I didn't show the word list then, sorry. Yep, so sorry, it was from here. So, 協力, cooperation, chiki, local, bunka, culture, daiji, important, tatemono, building, and his name, Kawaguchi Tomohiro-san. Sorry about that. Alright. Alright. Last little bit here. So, what's he going on about? So, 家を直すのに協力した川口智弘さんは. So again, we got a wa here, so we should look at everything that came before it. Alright? Treat it as one. So, 家を直すのに. So again, fixing our houses. 協力した. Alright? So basically, this guy, Kawaguchi-san, he's like their guy, right? He's their guy in Japan. This American company's guy in Japan who's helping them coordinate, right? And he's probably got some construction background or whatever, so because he can help fix houses. So 協力した. So 直すのに. So this noni, this is not despite, okay? This is kind of like the guy who's involved in cooperating with us, fixing the houses. Alright, so this is kind of like a verb clause, okay? But I wouldn't worry about this too much. Alright, so what is he saying? So he says, 古い家は, so as for old houses, 地域の文化がわかる大事な建物なので. Okay, so なので, alright, ので is our so. Alright, so we've got a reason and then a result. Reason and then a result. So what's the reason? 古い家は, as for old houses, 地域の文化がわかる. You can understand the local culture. 大事な建物. These are very important buildings to understand the local culture. Okay? Kind of makes sense, right? Cultural artifacts, you don't get much better than buildings, right? Which still are standing. And because tatemono is a noun, we have to put a na before our no there, right? Because it's not conjugated. Okay? Tatemono nanode, たくさんの人に利用してもらいたい. Alright, really important point here. もらいたい. Okay, もらいたい. So, もらう is to receive, okay? And it's from the speaker's point of view. So this means that Tomohiro-san じゃないや, Kawaguchi-san is the one receiving something. But actually he's saying もらいたい, so he's saying he wants to receive something. What does he want to receive? たくさんの人に利用して. So he wants many people to come and stay at these places, okay? And of course, I mean, it's how he's making his money. I don't want to be too cynical about it. But at least from what he said here, this beginning bit, he's saying, well, you know, these buildings are really important cultural artifacts. And I want lots of people to stay in them. Why? Well, because you're going to understand. You're going to understand the culture a lot better if you actually stay in these houses. Okay, now I've got to say, I don't want to be too general about this, but it's a pretty common sentiment among Japanese people. Okay, they're very keen to share their culture with the world. They don't have any, generally, I've never met any Japanese person who ever sees people wearing kimono or whatever and is like angry about it. You know, they're very proud of their culture and they're very happy to spread it around the world. Okay, と話していました. Okay, so this is something that he said. Okay, I think we'll about leave it there. That was quite a good article, and I would always, like I said, always recommend that you guys check out NHK Easy every now and then, so that you can do some practice. So anyway, so please subscribe and like the video, leave a comment if there's anything you'd like me to do in particular. Still trying to experiment with a few things how I want this format to go, but I'm pretty happy with how it's all going. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.